Black History Month. You're in the building with the Life Gang Avengers of Current Culture. It's me and Larry. And in keeping with our tradition of bringing great African-American historical figures to the channel, we have Dr. Corey joining us today. Larry, Dr. Corey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
I'm good. Larry, how you doing?
Man, I'm feeling good. I feel like we should put Dr. Corey in the middle, man. She's so pretty. I feel like, she needs to be right in the center of things.
Here we go. Lord, look, can you put any more mayonnaise on that bread sandwich, brother? My goodness. So be more careful.
Look, y'all know I got to come looking correct. Y'all have invited me back for the second time. I got to represent. You know what I'm saying?
When have you never represented? And for those of you that don't know Dr. Trent, me and her went to high school together. She eventually evolved and her brain got so smart. She left my high school and went to the School of Science and Math. She went on and became an MD. And now she's writing a little bit of a book on top of all these different things. And she's in the mental health field. So before we talk about your book and the great things you're going to do with that book, kind of give people a little bit more context as to your academic background and what inspired you to become a doctor.
Sure. Thanks for asking. So definitely, like you said, I went to high school with you to start, and then I had the opportunity to go to the North Carolina School of Science and Math. So definitely science and mathematics were things that I really wanted to focus on, and STEM education. After that, I went to Yale University for undergrad. I ended up majoring in psychology, which was very interesting. From there, I was pretty much set in the trajectory to become a doctor. And so from there, I went to UNC School of Medicine. Went through all the training there, got a broad medical education, and through the different rotations that I had, got really interested in mental health, and especially mental health in communities of color. Yeah. So from there, went to University of Maryland to pursue adult psychiatry, and then did a fellowship in child and adolescent psychiatry, because that's where I truly want to make the biggest difference in our young people, especially with mental illness. So,
So you're what? One of about 9 Black children, child psychiatrists in the country, because there's not a lot of Black psychiatrists in this country, period, and then child psychiatrists even fewer. So
you're right. You know what's interesting? We just recently is like the inaugural or the first Black Women Physicians Day. Just recently we had, and we're trying to bring more awareness to, I think it's Dr. Rebecca Crumpler, who might have been one of the first African-American physicians, but even just trying to recognize how rare women and African-American women are in medicine. 2% of all physicians are African-American women. So, that's saying a lot. There are very few of us, and especially like you said, in mental health. So definitely there's a need for me out there, and I want to be available to people so they can see people that look like them, who can relate to them, and who can definitely address their needs.
I was watching a special yesterday. Go ahead, Larry.
I was going to say, since we're talking about Black female doctors, for all you guys out there, all you folks in the Black community out there who are worried about taking the vaccine, one of the main people out there that was leading up the team to create these vaccines was a Black female over at NIH. So,
That's right.
So if you're worried about that is some crazy, mad white scientist that's trying to sterilize you, I think you're okay on this one. I think the sister was looking out for us.
That's right. Dr. Kizzy Corbett. Big ups, Dr. Kizzy Corbett. She helps you the Moderna vaccine. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I was watching something on PBS last night saying that enrollment to become a physician for African Americans is slightly down, but the enrollment that they have, would you believe, is more women than men in totality. I think that just highlights that the way I get out of trouble, the wife is always right. That's how I get out of trouble. Now, Maria, you're a doctor. Now tell me this, because they be sweating my wife, talking about she's smart. Do nephrologists really have to be that smart?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a specialist for the kidneys. So your wife automatically, is a genius. Let's just go ahead and establish that just outright. All right.
Look at he's like, oh, I'm never gonna hear the end of it.
I already don't hear the end of the fact that she was valedictorian, first in Detroit or something like that. So I don't hear the end of that. And when they go to these conferences and they talk about the smart dog, they always talk about nephrologists and I want to say it's either dermatology. One of them where they give you the good schedule. I think it's dermatology.
Dermatology.
Yeah. You got to be smart to get that, so you get that good schedule, and you can be Dr. Pimple Popper or whatever you want to be. But
I mean, there definitely are certain specialties that you have to really be like at the top of the class to get into. And you're right. There's those that have like the best lifestyles or have like really high salaries compared to other physicians. You're right. So some of those are a little more cutthroat.
Gotcha. Well, let's get into the
surgeon like Nip Tuck.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So those people are living the life, boy.
Dermatology, urology, those types of things for sure. Your grades got to be on point. You got to be at the top of the class.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to tell you that Maria worked hard. Yes, she was smart, but she's also an inspiration to a lot of people that this is something you can achieve. And so, Maria, we're going to go ahead and dive into the book, but I got to show a video. I got to show.
Can I ask her one question before we go?
Of course, you can ask her a question.
Since we were talking about some of the best specialties, what are some of the worst?
Ooh.
There's no such thing as a worst specialty because all specialties are needed. I tell you, though, often the perception is that the lower paying specialties are not the most desirable ones. Although I'll be honest with you, if you're in it for the right reasons, then it shouldn't be for the money necessarily. It's because you truly want to help people. And so it tends to be more of the primary care specialties that don't get as much reimbursement. So like family practice, pediatrics, internal medicine, that people tend to stay away from because they don't have as high salaries as some of the more procedure-based or surgical or, radiological, those types of, or interventional types of specialties.
See, I always figured.
I'm sorry, real quick. Psychiatry's not always looked at as a desirable specialty either, even though there's a great need for it.
Great need. Great.
I always figured that like pediatric oncology would be the worst. Like it would just be a constant barrage of heartbreak.
That is hard. Any oncology, really, because again, you're dealing with people who are dealing with cancer, and a lot of times the prognosis is really, really bad. So that is tough.
Yeah, I was listening to a piece about pediatric oncologists, and they were saying that people only last in that field for I think they said on average like 3 to 5 years, because they said that the emotional toll that it takes on you is just so high that most people just can't deal.
That's true. That is true. But I tell you what, another one that a lot of my colleagues will say is really difficult is emergency medicine. So medicine, like just the sheer number of people that you're having to, triage and treat, and the emergencies that you're dealing with. And even people are coming in, they're drunk, they're high, there's no telling, they're in dire need. And they can be dangerous, and they can be belligerent or whatever it is. That can be really hard too, and it can cause a lot of burnout.
Yeah. Now, see, Larry, do you remember my respiratory therapy story about being in the ER?
No.
Maria, do you remember this one?
Tell me.
Okay, so I'm a respiratory care student working at Martin County General Hospital, right? And we negotiated to get a job as RCAs on the weekend. So and when you're in a rural hospital like that, you have to be able to work every unit basically, especially something like a nurse or a respiratory therapist. Okay, I'm Black. Y'all know I'm Black. Don't hide from that. So they called me to the ER, and I want to know why is the doctor and the nurse is standing at the counter smiling and giggling. They called me to do an EKG on a patient that was 95 years old. Okay. All right. So I'm wondering, okay, I'm going there, do my thing, but why y'all over there giggling and trying to hide your laugh? I get in there. This old, frail lady that had one tooth in her mouth that looked like this, and it was brown. I said, ma'am, I have to put leads on your chest to get this EKG. You know what this lady did? She said, jumped around me and started digging that tooth right here in my neck, right here.
Are you serious?
Oh.
I can't make this stuff up. And the doctor and the nurse and everybody standing outside the hospital, giggling, laughing. She was drunk, and she has a thing. She has a thing for Black people.
Oh man,
are you okay?
I need counseling for that still to this day.
Are you having any PTSD symptoms?
And that's not the worst thing. That ain't the worst thing. I'm not going to tell this whole story, but let me tell you something that was worse. In the same hospital, you see all kinds of stuff in rural hospitals. Dude came into the hospital. Y'all remember Coke bottles? The old, not the new ones, the old one. They like this long.
Glass.
Mhm.
Yeah. Dude came in the hospital with one all the way up his butt, and it was like this. The glass was all around it. And I'm thinking, what the hell are y'all calling me for? Well, of course, we had to sedate him. Yes. No. How am I supposed to fix that? I'm a respiratory therapist, not a therapist.
Have you not heard of the Magic Negro?
No, no.
When all else fails, call the Magic Negro.
No. Just
exactly.
No. Matter of fact, Maria, we're back to you and this book. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at her exuberance in discussing her book that's about to drop this Saturday.
Hi guys, Dr. Maria Trent here with Hubs in the background, coming at you live on video. Just wanted to stop in briefly to let you know that the paperback copy of my book will be available this Saturday on Amazon, so make sure to get yours. Hubby approved.
So Maria, we feeling it. And if you want to get you a copy, all her links is in the video description. Check her sister out. But Maria, tell us the inspiration and what drove you to deciding to write this book currently.
Sure. So let me just flash it real quick. So it is entitled, and this is the draft copy. It's Who Will I Be? It's All Up to Me. And so this is a book that I not only wrote, but I also illustrated. So it's definitely, it's been a fun project. It's been one definitely from my heart. And in terms of what it's about, I feel like kids are always asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? Mm-hmm. And they have no basis on making that decision. It depends on what they're exposed to. It depends on what they've heard their parents talk about. It depends on just a myriad of things. And they're often like, whatever I see, or whatever he's doing, or, they just don't really even know what the jobs are about. And so what I try to do in this book is take it a step back for a second and not only talk about what do you want to be, but what type of person do you want to be? And so I really wanted to be a good starting point for a discussion between parents and their kids about what are the important positive values that I need to be living and including in my life. What are character traits that are going to help me reach my goals and to make a positive difference in the world? And you and I both know the world right now, we've seen a lot of divisiveness, and things have really been, hateful against, people of color. And it really needs to change. And I think it starts at home. It starts with parents having a real discussion with their kids about, we need to be kind. We need to be considerate of others. We need to have compassion. We need to, be confident in ourselves and have a vision for what we want from our lives and for the future, and really embrace inclusion and diversity. So this book really serves as kind of a launch pad for parents to really have that type of discussion with their kids from early, but it does it in a fun way. And so I try to include a lot of, fun visuals and illustrations that show people of color, because, representation matters.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also make it in a rhyming text. So it's fun and it's kind of repetitive, and, make it so that it really draws kids in and lets them have a fun time really exploring values, which is not always a fun discussion, but I try to do it in a way that really gets them interested. And then there's another piece to it. I do have positive values in word form hidden in the illustrations. So even after going through the book, kids can have fun on each page figuring out, well, where's the hidden value in this particular illustration? And there's a glossary in the back that defines those different positive values so that kids can start to see, hey, these are important and this is how it applies to me and how it can, help me to decide what I want to do with my future.
Wow.
Well, damn. Who needs a Bill Gates on the channel when you got Dr. Corey? I mean, my God. Whoa.
I see a Caldecott Award coming up somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. Larry, listen to what she said. She wrote the book. She drew the illustration, so she's an artiste, and she made it rhyme, so she's a poet on top of that. Then she put in there basically find your own fate with little hidden gems in there, like she's writing for Marvel, planting Easter eggs.
Hey,
I'm done. I'm done. I can't do nothing with a sister like that. That's why I married one.
You're raising the bar real high for people out there.
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, without delay, jump in that video description section, order your copy of her book. All her links are down there. But before we let her off the hook, before we let her out of here, Larry, You know, she ain't broke no sweat yet, so we got to make her sweat a little bit.
I did want to mention about the book though on the cover.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
let me pull it back up
It
for
looked
you.
like the little boy was homeschooled from it looked like he was on quarantine homeschooling.
Yes. So he is featured in his room. He does have his laptop there, and it does kind of reflect the times that we're in right now. Kids are stuck at home. Kids are having to, learn in a virtual setting. And that's a perfect, depiction of that. And I'll be honest with you, all of the pictures are based on my son because it really is dedicated to him. And I wanted to encourage him to believe in himself, to have vision for the future, to believe in his abilities to not only reach his goals and to kind of map out ways to reach those goals, but also to know that he can make a positive difference in his community and in the lives of others. So it is his pondering of his family values and him figuring out how exactly he wants to live it out to make a difference.
Now, did this project come about during the pandemic or did you start it beforehand?
Oh, I started it way before then. I actually probably wrote the book itself 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I finally got to the point where I was like, you know what? I need to go ahead and make this into a book. I was like, let me get a book coach. Let me go ahead and get this together. She told me, go ahead and get an illustrator. I had contacted a few and they fell through. So I said, you know what? I can draw a little bit. I said, let me go ahead and illustrate this thing, save a little bit, some ducats.
Right.
So through the pandemic, I actually illustrated and I had a ball with it. And I think it turned out just right the way it was supposed to. And so now the finished product is here. And like you said, it's already available on Kindle right now, but it will be available in paperback on Amazon this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
well,
I'm going to
get a copy for Elle, and I want you to sign it so we can read this to her as she starts to mature as a woman and have an outline for how I want to set goals. Because I keep telling y'all, I'm a dad with an iron fist in this house now. Trying to tell y'all, don't let them.
And when he says iron fist, he means that he runs nothing except for wherever Elle tells him to go.
Let me tell you, Elle is gorgeous. And I see the pictures that you post. And she certainly, every photo has you wrapped right around her finger.
Oh, my love, not you too. Got to be more careful. See,
truth is truth.
See, you're not supposed to be creating mental health over here. You know what I'm saying?
Not tearing it down, right?
Yeah. No, I can't lie, man. I love that little girl. That's my ride or die, my homie. My first child. We waited late, but we tight. So I'm fine with y'all picking on me in that manner. Just know I am the dad. That's all.
No doubt.
I did want to ask, have you found that since the pandemic has hit that kids, their idea of what they want to become, what will you be, what do you want to be, has any of that changed based on what people have seen and what kids have seen and what they've experienced because of the lockdown and parents being out of work, or maybe jobs that used to be available maybe are not necessarily looked at as available anymore? Have you seen any change in what kids are thinking?
That's a really good question. I think kids are seeing how nice it is. And again, it's challenging, but how nice it is to be able to work from home and to be available to your family more. And like you said, seeing that certain jobs are not still available face-to-face in person and looking more for IT type work or something with computer graphics or something with game creation. I definitely have heard a lot of kids talk about those types of things, and even teens and young adults too.
Right. I wonder if this is going to change the way in the long term how kids view careers and how they look at what they're willing to accept as far as going to work. Because I think we all grew up traditionally thinking mom or dad or both go off and go to work to a job somewhere, and then they spend 8, 10, 12 hours there, and then they come home. And if you're growing up now where your parents are at home working and that's what they do, when they go to work, they get up and walk into the other room or they walk and go sit at the kitchen table and open up their computer for the next, 8 hours or so. I wonder if that's going to change the way that they look at what they accept and what their experience for their career. Like they may not want to go and say, I don't want to commute for an hour to go into the city and then go sit in a cubicle for 9 hours. I want to work from home.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I definitely think it's going to be a positive influence and something that they can see as an opportunity. But again, I think what's really important is that parents are discussing these things with their kids. Here are the pros and the cons of working from home. It can be difficult to juggle everything and to separate yourself from work at times, but it is a blessing in that you are home, you're in your comfortable environment, saving money on commuting, saving money sometimes on clothes because people are dressed from the waist up and then just pajama pants on below. but
Save money on dry cleaning.
Definitely just opening the discussion to talk about the pros and cons of different professions. And like we said, really tying in what type of person do you want to be? What type of difference do you want to make? And how can you then take those traits and those values and, incorporate that into the profession that you choose.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Maria, I got one question, then we'll go ahead and get you on the off ramp. And this deals with mental health with adults. We're just coming off probably one of the mentally straining presidents we've ever had in the history of this country, at least since we've all been living.
I could have sworn I just saw her woosah right there.
I'm trying not to even look because I need to collect my thoughts on this one here. And then we see this president about to leave in the middle of a pandemic, and then we see him incite a riot on the Capitol, considering everything he's torn down with minorities and women, the rule of law, all that stuff. And considering that we've got this looming bad guy named COVID-19 in the background and people starting to feel burnout, how are you coaching people, directing people to overcome all this black cloud that has been lingering over them over the last couple of weeks?
That is a perfect question to ask. And it's tough because it's affecting all of us, not just my patients, not just people with mental illness, but just everyday people. It's a lot all at one time. What I often will tell people is just turn the news off. Take a break from it, because constantly being bombarded by it is a constant reminder of the negativity, a constant reminder of the poor decisions that have been made, a constant reminder of how, for some reason, we're turning a blind eye to what happened on January 6th, on the Capitol, as if, oh, nothing bad happened, no big deal, And
Right.
So that can be disheartening to everyone. So
Right.
we really just need to, with anybody with any stress, minimize the source of the stress. Try to, separate yourself and give yourself a chance to recover in some way. So whether it be meditating, praying, exercising, music, trying to connect with loved ones, exercising, whatever it is for you, engage in that self-care activity or behavior, surround yourself with loved ones. And again, just disconnect for a little bit. Even on social media, you see people spreading articles about it, commenting about it. It's been very divisive in terms of, oh, friends didn't speak out against this. Oh, friends are for this. And so it's causing a lot of conflict between people. So it's almost like just disconnect for a little bit and just focus on your own mental health, your own sanity, and just figuring out, what are you grateful for? What is going right in my life? What am I, experiencing that's positive? And again, not striving for perfection, but what step towards making things better for myself, my household, my community have I done today? Or what can I do? And just to focus on the positive as opposed to the negative that's happening around us.
Wow. Larry, we just got $260 worth of doctor visit right here for 5 minutes, and we didn't even use Teledoc.
You guys are awesome.
I'm curious. What do you tell kids? Kids or parents? What do you tell them so that they can, throughout all of this, that they can sort of try to maintain some sense of trust in their family, the adults in their lives, whether it be their parents or teachers, the system in general, because we look around and we're seeing all this stuff, all the craziness that happened with politics, with Trump, and then we saw then the pandemic hit, and now we're seeing kids and other people that are suffering because of these, this polar vortex where you have like basically the entire grid offline in Texas. I mean, it seems. I mean, adults obviously are getting bombarded too, but you're seeing kids that are just getting hit with one thing after the other. At what point? I mean, what advice do you give parents to try and give their kids some sense of stability in the system so that they can say it's still okay to trust, it's still okay to believe that things will work out, and you can trust the adults in your life, even though things don't look like they are okay?
Right. That's a good question. So the thing is, I know for me in my house, we serve the Lord. And so really, I have to give it up to, God first, because men, women, humans are fallible. And a lot of times they're driven based on desires and, wants and whatever it is. The one true thing that we can trust and believe in, and we know it's going to be stable, is God. And so I feel like if I can encourage families to have a strong foundation, whether it be God or whoever their higher power is, and really center themselves with that force, then no matter what's going on in the world around us, that'll give us like a guiding light and a solid rock on which to base our trust and our foundation and our belief in. And so again, no matter what's going on, I know for me and my family, you know, God is still in control. And so it doesn't matter who the president is, doesn't matter what disease is plaguing us, it doesn't matter what's happening in the world around us, God is going to see us through.
Cool.
Good words.
Good word. So, Dr. Trent, tell the people how they can reach you on social media, how they can get your book, and then we'll let you get back to your family. And we thank you for this time.
Thank you. You guys are always great. I always love coming to talk with you guys. You guys make me so comfortable, and it's such a great, fun environment. Yes.
I have one more question for her.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, Lord.
So my last question is
wait a minute.
I know that you
wait. Do not ask her who the rightful ruler of Wakanda is. It is not Killmonger. Don't ask her no foolishness like that. I know how you roll.
I wasn't even going to ask that, but since you brought it up, and since you just already said that we know who the rightful ruler of Wakanda is, I don't even need to bring it up. But I was going to ask about sort of the relation between fitness and mental health with adults and kids and everybody else. I know that you have your fitness the fitness element of your social media platform and everything. So I was just curious about how you talk to parents or kids about incorporating fitness into their mental health.
Right. Fitness is a game changer, man. Fitness is like one of the, I don't want to say cures, but one of the greatest treatments for maintenance of overall health, mental health, and just happiness and joy, to be honest with you, because when we exercise, it relieves stress. It increases circulation and blood flow to all parts of your body. So it's not just helping with your brain, memory, concentration, just being able to process things better, but it helps with circulation throughout your body. It helps to maintain a healthy weight. It helps to, just keep you looking fit and good, and you're feeling good about yourself. The self-confidence goes up. And then honestly, it helps too with sleep. It helps to regulate sleep better. You kind of tire yourself out to where at night you want to get a good sleep. Your body needs to recover. And honestly, we need to be asking Lamar, because he's the bodybuilder of the group. I'm trying to be like Mont.
Mont put on pandemic pounds, and I got caught. I always tell people every year I'll go and not really diet, but I still keep lifting to try to make my muscles bigger because I don't use drugs. All right. And I always tell my clients that's not healthy to put on extra weight, because sometimes you might get stuck in a rut where you don't want to get the weight off. Well, Pandemic comes next year. Gym shut down. I didn't have my home gym set up yet. So I kind of got caught, but now I'm back closer in the ballpark of getting close to about 20% body fat. Awesome. I know how to get it off, but it's tough. It is tough. And for me, honestly, the way I do my diet can be stressful to me mentally. And so I do a lot of what you're saying, which I put sacrificial meals in place for my mental sanity that still keep me on track to reduce my body fat. And that's how I handle it. And my daughter, I don't like her going in the gym, but she's always trying to crawl her little behind in that gym. I don't know what's in there. I mean, it's some heavy weight in there. She's always trying to take her little butt in there. So maybe that's a sign of something to come.
You know what? That's because you're setting such a positive example for her. She wants to emulate you. And that's another important point that you bring up. It's important that parents emulate and model the positive behavior and character traits that they want their kids to exhibit. And I think you're doing that. I think that's why Elle is right on up there, climbing up to the weight. She's ready to go ahead and start her fitness journey.
Well, as long as she go and stand beside that picture that we've got a Serena Williams in there, and she go grab herself a tennis racket one day. Hey, Elle, get on up in there, baby. Get on up in there.
So what are we going to get next? Are we going to get like a mental health food, cookbook, healthy foods for the brain or something?
You know what? You're going to have to invite me back to see. I may come up with something like that.
Okay. Well, we definitely can do that. So before we get you out of here, shout out your Instagram and how people can get your book, and then we'll let you go.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so definitely, if you're interested in psychiatric services, for sure, at Elite Excellence Psychiatry on Instagram is the best way to get me. If you just want to get information about the book, it's at Elite Excellence Books. And the best way to get the book right now, again, it is available right now on Kindle, but will be available in paperback on Amazon this Saturday, February 20th. So please go get it.
Yep. And all her links are in the video description, ladies and gentlemen. And just in case some of you are just getting here and you want to watch this whole thing without watching the whole live, tomorrow I will be chopping this up. So it'll be just this segment so Maria can have a copy and so that you guys can watch a shortened copy of this excellent African-American hero that we have brought here on 1 month of Black History Month, which is February. So,
yes.
Dr. Corey, tell your husband I still love that grown man outfit he wore at your wedding. And that when they open things back up, I might come check out him and his tailor. Just
hey,
let him.
There you go. That was a custom-made suit, so for sure I will let him know.
I know, for sure.
Nice.
So we enjoyed you. We'll bring you back when something else happens, something good. And until then, give everybody our love, and we'll see you next time.
I sure will. Thank you, Lamar. Thank you, Larry. Blessings
All right.
to
Good seeing you again.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Who said, Larry, talk about how great our people are. You know, like, we've got some outstanding folks running around here doing big, big things in America, trying to make life better for everybody.
No denying it.
No
denying it.
But we also have some people making life very, very difficult for African Americans. Larry?
We do, but one of them died today.
I ain't even gonna talk about him. I done got emails from my Republican friends. I'm not even gonna talk about him. Actually,
I'm not saying the name. I'm just saying he made life hell for a lot of people, and he's gone now.
He did. But one of our own people has done some things that made people look at her with a side eye. And I'm talking about Gorilla Sue. They're calling her the Gorilla Girl. If you guys didn't know the story, this young lady put Gorilla Glue in her hair and is trying to sue them. Well, Larry, she done went and got a talent agent. So take a quick look at the story, and then I'm going to break down what's going on. And me and my wife had already said, you know goodness well you shouldn't be putting no Gorilla Glue in your hair. It's either a stunt or you're really stupid or both. Here we go. Take a look.
A big day for the woman who put Gorilla Glue in her hair.
The woman who super glued her hair is in a lot better shape today. Here's Tessica Brown. No more rock hard glue.
I mean, that's got to make you feel good, right?
It makes me feel awesome. Awesome.
The 40-year-old mom of 5 earned national notoriety for using Gorilla Glue spray after running out of hairspray. Yep, the same Gorilla Glue from those wacky commercials.
Gorilla Spray adhesive for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Bad idea. Yo, look, my hair, it don't move.
Tessica tried washing it out with oils and shampoo and even went to the emergency room, but nothing worked until Beverly Hills plastic surgeon Michael Obang offered to help. Tessica flew from her home in Louisiana to Los Angeles. How are you holding up, Tessica? Where she got a COVID test before undergoing a procedure to dissolve the glue using a concoction of medical-grade adhesive remover, aloe vera, olive oil, and acetone. The process took 4 hours, and you can see the hair coming undone.
Okay, that's it. Tessica, you did great.
Look how easily the comb glides through the hair. Still on the operating room table, Tessica is overcome with emotion. Talk show host Wendy Williams, who earlier this week ridiculed her,
a Gorilla Glue woman, dumbest girl on the face of the earth,
is now expressing sympathy.
I'm glad that you got your hair back.
What do you see when you look in that mirror?
Tessica.
You see Tessica?
Tessica. Not the, other person. This is me.
Bet she doesn't do that again. Gorilla Glue says the packaging warns people not to put the product in their eyes or on their skin, and we would say that includes hair.
Larry, that was last week. This week we learned she's got a talent agent. Let me read you the article. I can't make this stuff up. Louisiana woman who went viral after getting Gorilla Glue globbed in her hair has taken a big step toward making her 15 minutes of fame last as long as a scalp full of adhesive and has hired a full-blown celebrity management team, including an agent. Tessica Brown, 40, has teamed up with professional fame experts in addition to recently unveiling her merchandise line days after returning home from the hair shaving surgery in Beverly Hills. The mother of 5 has partnered with Gitoni, who represents celebrities like Blac Chyna, Lamar Odom, Tommy Lee, and provides product placement, marketing, celebrity management, and casting for scripted and reality TV shows. Here's a picture, Larry. You got all the time you want to go in on this story.
Do I have to?
Okay, well, then make it 2 minutes. Then make it 2 minutes. Good Lord.
Man, I mean, it's the whole thing is just so silly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's utterly ridiculous that someone would put Gorilla Glue in their hair. But here's the thing. For people who don't realize, people put glue in their hair all the time. They have weave glue that people put in their hair. So the idea of putting glue in one's hair is not such a foreign concept that some people wouldn't maybe consider it. And if you look at the container, and I'm not sure that she did, it said not to put it on your skin or in your eyes, but it didn't say anything about your hair. And so,
wait a minute. What is your hair connected to?
To your skin. I mean, it's connected to your scalp. So I mean, no doubt. I'm not trying to justify what she did and say that it was a good decision. I think it wasn't. But I will simply say that, it's the idea of putting glue in one's hair is not the craziest thing. It's not so far out of the realm that for some people, maybe they just can't understand. They're like, why would someone put glue in their hair? Well, if you're someone who wears weaves, you're someone that wears extensions, and you glued them in there, you glue your tracks in. It's not such an abnormal idea, and you take them out later when you're done. This is not that type of glue. And as far as her getting an agent and profiting off of it, I have absolutely zero problem with that. I mean, if for some reason people are out there and they want to buy this woman's products with her name and her branding, I mean, go for it. The only thing that bothers me about that is I don't want people to start thinking that doing something that could potentially harm them is a way to fame, a way to fortune. I don't want people to do that.
And that's my whole problem. I mean, honestly, we live in a society where Kim Kardashian got famous in part, not in totality, in part, because of a taboo.
I have to give Kim Kardashian some slack on that, and the reason
that's why I said
is
in
that,
part, and I don't want you to dibble dabble on that because it's going to take us too much time to get off focus of this girl. And we have too many people that are willing to put turtles in microwave and explode them and get a following and blow up famous. I can't per se say, okay, the fame comes with you, don't take advantage of. I can't say that. But I guess I have to be mad at someone for wanting to watch the stupid mess, for people that want to support this mess. And I don't like the precedents that to get famous and make money, you have to do stupid stuff like this. When we have plenty of people who are trying to do the right thing or trying to help people and can't get 5 YouTube views. I have a problem with that.
I mean, that is a symptom of the bad and terribleness of our society. I mean, but that's just what it is. People have a tendency to gravitate towards the ugly, the bad, the dumb, the stupid, the reckless, not the good stuff necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on YouTube, and there's a lot that, there's a lot on here, and people do go towards the good stuff at times, but at the same time, you find that people have a tendency to go towards the extreme. And something like this is an extreme story. Some people may think it's extreme stupidness or extreme whatever, but people gravitate to it because it's so out of the norm. It's just so extra, as some people would say.
So Larry, what's her talent? You got a talent agent how is she going to spin you into talent? Do you sing? Do you dance? Do you cook? What's your talent? I mean, it sounds to me like the talent agent, what they do, as long as you have a big following or you're hot for a moment, they somehow or another figure out a way to put a reality TV show around you and script it. What is her talent, Larry? What's she going to do? Glue everybody hell with Gorilla Glue? Or is she going to put Gorilla Glue on her feet and try to walk on a tightrope? What's next?
Well, you may not everybody, and this is the thing that I think a lot of people get upset about with social media and social media influencers, is they're often asking, what talent does this person have? Why does this person deserve to have 1 million followers or 2 million followers or 100,000 followers or whatever? And the reality of it is we live in a society where you don't necessarily need what people used to consider traditional talent. You don't have to be able to sing or dance or play a musical instrument or rap. All you really need to do is be an interesting person. You simply need to be a dynamic personality, whether that be dynamic.
Larry, that's a talent.
Excitable or
Larry, that's a talent. A dynamic personality is a talent.
And then the other part of it is too is that sometimes people just simply do stuff that causes them to get attention, and these agencies are simply saying, "Look, here's the deal. Maybe you have some talents we don't know about. Maybe we can parlay all of this that's happening into you exploiting those talents, but maybe you don't. Maybe what we do is for this short period of time that you have this attention, we utilize it and we help you make money from it. We make money, you make money, we're all happy. And then when the interest wanes, it goes away. But in the interim, they try and make some money. I mean, I don't know. I think that the idea of what talent does she have, I don't know. She may be extraordinarily talented. When I look at her on tape, when I hear her speak, she doesn't seem at all interesting. She seems very monotone and just sort of subdued. She doesn't seem like a very interesting person in that sense that I would want to watch her on anything. Now, I mean, she may be very interesting, and maybe they just need someone to develop content that's suited for her, and then she would be fantastic. I don't know.
Well, that's
but from what I've seen thus far, I don't find anything that draws me to want to watch some sort of program that focuses on her. But
I guess we'll see soon. We'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, post your comments on Gorilla Sue. That's what they've been calling her on the web. Now I have a story that Larry might like. It intrigues me a little bit. So Larry, this comes from your area. The former mayor of DC, Marion Barry, is getting another biopic. And guess who's going to play him?
Oh, gosh.
Eddie Murphy. But here's the problem that's going to get on your nerves. No. That ain't the part that's going to get on your nerves. The part that's going to get on your nerves, guess who's writing it and directing it? This is what's going to get on your nerve.
Shonda Rhimes?
No, Spike Lee, who you have said done got long in the tooth. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know about Marion Barry and all the ups and downs he went through, here's a very short clip to give you some context of this controversial mayor that was beloved in the town, and some people would say was taken down by that white girl, and I'm not talking about a white woman.
Live there, deserve the right to be here, and they're gonna come in here as long as I'm in here. My role as a leader is to get something if I can do it, and be beat to death if I can do it. If I'm gonna be beat to death, I might as well get something for it.
Marion was one of us, marching, picketing, protesting, freedom riding, and risk-taking young man who had that fire.
And the day has come when we design our own past and our own future for us and by us.
He had the potential to be Martin Luther King's successor a leading political figure of our era.
Last night, Marion Barry Jr., mayor of Washington, D.C., was arrested of possession of crack cocaine.
White people thought, finally we got him, he's guilty. Black people thought he was set up.
There is no justice in America for the black man or the black woman. Let us not deceive ourselves.
Marion Barry is a pathological liar. He's a crackhead.
We're a racially charged city anyway, and this just lit a match.
Marion Barry is a role model for every black man that's in this city that was scared to get up and brush the dust off.
He's bad.
You'd say, oh no, that really didn't happen. But it did happen.
If Marion Barry can do it, our entire city can get up off its knees and rise up and believe in itself again and do for itself again and bring us out of where we are now again.
Storm don't last always. There's always a silver lining in every dark cloud somewhere.
Larry. Biopic coming to HBO, where we're going to have our boy Eddie Murphy playing Marion Barry. Directed and written by Spike Lee, your favorite director. Talk to us about it, Larry. How you feeling?
I have mixed feelings because I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, well, I just have to see how it turns out. My biggest concern is how they're going to play this story, because when they cast someone like Eddie Murphy, who is clearly a comedic actor, I mean, it's not that he can't be a serious actor. We've seen him in roles where he can play, where he can play a serious character, but I don't know if that's what he's planning on doing in this instance. And I guess my concern with that is that I don't want to see them come in here and just poke a lot of fun and be disrespectful to Marion Barry. I mean, I know that the dude got in trouble and he embarrassed a lot of us in that time. But also, I mean, when I first moved out here and I was working for newspapers, I went and it was something they were doing where I forgot, it was some event, but Marion Barry was going to be there. And I was going over there to photograph it, and I was photographing people, and I was getting quotes from some folks, and these young men and women were talking about him, and it was such high regard. They talked about how he brought so many jobs to the district for young black people when everybody else just wrote them off, and they talked about how he created these jobs programs that got people off of the streets, got people out of homelessness, got people out of gangs, got people out of all these terrible conditions and got them working. And a lot of these people still working. I talked to this one guy. He was like, I was in gangs and fighting and shooting and selling drugs. He was like, Marion Barry came up and got me off the corner, physically took me off the corner, got me a job, got my life together. And he was like, I have a house now, I'm married, I have kids. He was like, and I owe all of that to him. And apparently that's not an unusual story in the district.
Okay.
And so, I mean, it's easy to poke fun at him because he got caught smoking crack and blah, blah, blah. But the dude did a lot of good for black people in the district. And I don't want to see them do a movie that just pokes fun at his lowest point and not talk about the great parts of his career and share that as well. So it depends on what they do.
Do you really think Spike Lee would do a movie like that?
I don't know what they would do. I hope not, but I don't know what they would do. The casting of a comedian as that role worries me a bit, but
let me read this to you. HBO Films is developing an untitled television biopic centered on former DC Mayor Marion Barry, whom Murphy will play should the project move forward, a source confirms with The Hollywood Reporter. Spike Lee is attached to direct with John Ridley to pen the script. Murphy, Lee, and Ridley would all serve as executive producers, as the Washington Post first reported. Journalists Harry Jaff and Tom Sherwood have been tapped to consult along with the 9 Lives of Marion Barry filmmaker Dana Floor, which is what I just showed you guys. That was the 9 Lives. It was like the trailer for that. Here we go. Barry served as DC mayor from 1979 to 91. Damn, that's a long time. And again from 95 to 99. Damn, that's when I graduated high school. And is currently a member of the DC City Council representing the city's 8th Ward. In January 1990, Barry was caught smoking crack cocaine at a Vista International Hotel in downtown, was arrested on drug charges, serving 6 months in prison. Make you feel any better?
I mean, you know, I just have to see how they play it.
Okay. Okay.
I just have to see how they play it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you can't be honest about the story. It's not that you can't have some comedic elements to it. I just don't want it to be disrespectful. That's all. If they're going to do the story, be respectful, you know?
I don't see that they won't do that, but we'll see. And ladies and gentlemen, post your comments down below. Let us know what you think. And Larry, I got us to the last subject. Guess who's getting ready to go IPO?
Let's see. Coinbase.
No. But
Roadblock.
yeah, they are, but not anytime soon.
Lucid Motors.
They are, and I think I bought the SPAC that's going to get them, but that's not happening anytime soon. Starlink is going IPO, Larry.
Oh, when are they going?
Take a look at this.
Well, Elon Musk again making headlines this morning, this time with SpaceX, saying its broadband satellite business will go public eventually. Musk tweeting, quote, "Once we can predict cash flow reasonably well, Starlink will IPO," but warning that the business will need to pass through a, quote, "deep chasm of negative cash flow over the next year or so to actually make that financially viable." The possibility of SpaceX spinning off Starlink was first floated early last year by COO Gwen Shotwell, but Musk did shoot that down last March.
Shotwell in Bloomberg was quoted as saying that you were exploring splitting Starlink from SpaceX. Could you talk a little bit about that, why that would happen, and how you see both of these independent companies functioning, and just talk a little bit about that?
We're thinking about that zero.
We're thinking about that what?
Zero.
Zero?
Zero.
Not thinking about it at all.
We need to make the thing work.
So clearly they're thinking about it. SpaceX has now well over 1,000 of its small satellites in orbit, has been deploying them rapidly. We saw a launch last week, another scheduled for later this week. Beta service began rolling out last fall. It's quickly expanding to different geographies, both across North America and other parts of the world, like the UK. SpaceX disclosing in an FCC filing just recently that it already has 10,000 users. The company has said that building this constellation of tens of thousands of internet satellites could cost upwards of $10 billion, but that ultimately Starlink could be a $30 billion a year business, or to put that in context, about 10 times the size of launch services, so the rockets that actually launch these satellites. Still, huge risks because, as Musk has pointed out multiple times now, including last night in Twitter, every other company that has done this or attempted to do this has gone bankrupt, and that goes back to the 90s. Nonetheless, there is competition. We've got Amazon building out its Project Kuiper. AST & Science is going public via the New Providence SPAC, which is up just 40% since the start of this year. And OneWeb, which itself went through bankruptcy last year, is also reemerged from that restructuring process and a competitor. But of course, Amazon and SpaceX, Carl, getting into a bit of a turf war, if you will, about low Earth orbit just in recent weeks as both of those companies build out their broadband satellite plans.
Oh, yeah. So the word on the street is he's going to try to have the IPO launch by the end of the year, and he's going to launch where everybody who wants to get Starlink internet can get it by June. So he's looking to have everyone who wants to sign up for it can sign up for it by June. Based on the cash flow estimates, he's saying he wants to go IPO by December. Man, that thing is going to make so much money, Larry. I didn't know that they had 1,000 satellites in orbit. That's unbelievable. If you are a Martian and you're peeping our planet from behind the moon, and you see all this, it looks like we have a ring around our planet, but the ring is not real. It's an artificial ring of satellites, plus the ice is just floating around the planet. Larry, are you going to buy that stock when it drops, or are you going to smile at it?
No, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm most likely going to get it day one and just write it out. It's not going to be a trade. It's going to be an investment. I'm going to get it and just hold it.
Yeah. That's what I should have done, ladies and gentlemen. If you've been following me and Larry from last year, 2-3 months ago, I told you guys to buy a stock called Riot when it was $7. Ladies and gentlemen, I cashed out on that stock last Friday, right? Because I'm thinking, man, it can't keep going this much higher. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was dead wrong. Now, let me say this first. You don't go broke taking profits, all right? But you do go mentally insane seeing the extra profits you could have took, because I got out at $4,000 profit. And that was 50 bucks the share per share. The stock went up to $87 a share today. So if you still holding, man, you're looking good. You're looking damn good.
I sold half my position at, like, I don't know, I think it was at 50 something bucks or something like that. And I kept the rest. So I'm just sitting on that to see how far it's gonna go. At this point, I mean, I bought it at $9 and sold it at like 50 something. So I mean, I've been recouped my investment. So at this point, I can just let it ride and just see what it can go to. Let's see what it does. So
normally I keep certain stocks, and I did have Riot written down in my playbook as a long-term hold. I did. But when you see that much profit, man, you got to get it. You got to get it.
I tell you what Riot should do, because their stock price is so high. They should do a stock split. They should do like a 4-to-1 stock split, bring that price back down and let it go right back up.
It would do that. But ladies and gentlemen, whenever you make a play to do what I did, always make sure you got another value play you can jump on. So there's some other value stocks that haven't seen the rise that Riot is taking that you can also buy. First FinTech, Grayscale Blockchain is another good one. So I looked at those and I was like, the value is with those at this point. Might as well just pull some of that money out of Riot. And I had no idea this thing was going to keep going like this fast. So if you're in Riot, you done good. If you got out, you made money. That's all I can say. I would not jump in that sucker right now. No. And that's not saying that I don't think Riot is a good long-term stock, because I do. And I guess exactly. Because have you seen the premiums on that thing right now, Larry? The premiums are ridiculous. The premiums on that stock are pure tea ridiculous. I might sell a put tomorrow to go through Friday.
I'm about to look it up and see what it is.
Go look it up, brother, because that thing is off the rails. I mean, it's bananas. It's high volatility, which tells me at some point in time, it's going to come back to earth.
Jeez, yeah, if you bought that's crazy. If you sold a put that expires on Friday, an $81 put is paying $9.98 a share. So you're talking about just shy of $1,000 for an $81 put. If you start dropping down below that, I mean, you can go all the way down to $76 and it's $6. It's $6.60. So you're talking about $600 and something for a few days.
For 2 days. For 2 days. 2 days. Yeah, I might be.
I might do that. I think I might go buy like a $75, $76 put or sell one tomorrow.
Yeah, and get the money. And by the way, I want to say shout out to Savage Angel 31, who is the sister of Crystal. Her birthday is December the 18th. Happy birthday, sister. As a matter of fact, I actually have a conference call with her to talk about stocks tomorrow. Now, sister, I don't know if she's going to let you get on the phone this time. She was already trying to kick you off the one-on-one the last time. So I'm going to say happy birthday to her tomorrow. And shouts out to you for sending a super chat to this channel. Greatly appreciate it. And thank you for showing us your love and support.
This is probably going to be different tomorrow. I mean, if we're seeing this is what it is right now. So tomorrow,
it probably.
I mean, like I'm looking at this. I'm looking at a $73 put. Is $5.13 a share. So you're talking about $500 for 2 days, and the stock price would have to drop almost $10, which it could very well do. But you know,
because I haven't checked the volatility, but I mean, whenever you're talking about a $73 stock that'll pay $500, $400 for 2 days, the volatility is clearly through the roof. It's probably like
it's crazy. The volatility is 329.5%. So it's 329.5% is the implied volatility. It's crazy. It's risky.
It's definitely a risk, but you know what? You know, I don't know where else you can go put up, you know, $7,000 for 2 days and get back $500.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a nice risk to take right there. I mean, it could pay off very well. So
sure could.
You know, there was one thing I wanted to mention about Starlink that I think is going to be interesting. I'm not sure how it works out with all the technology stuff, but I think that the interesting thing about that service that could be really, really profitable. I mean, it's not profitable, but it could be a very good thing on one side, but it could also be very dangerous on the other side. Is going to be a social and political disruptor, because as it is right now with the internet, when you have countries like China, for instance, who has their great firewall, and then you have countries like Myanmar and some of these other places where they literally just shut off the internet. The government just shuts the internet off when they have these times of political turmoil. You can't do that with Starlink.
Nope.
I mean, you cannot do that when it comes to satellite internet. I mean, it's going to be controlled. You're talking about internet service that's going to be controlled by a company that's based in, you know, at this point, probably Austin, Texas or someplace. I mean, short of the government physically going and removing the hardware, I don't know how they would stop that service from people from utilizing that service. So that's going to be a serious disruptor, because they're not going to be able to just shut the service. They're not going to be able to just shut the internet off, which will allow people to continue to communicate. They're not going to be able to prevent people from seeing the internet unfiltered as it is. So if you live in China or some other place where they're trying to tell you, oh, this is what's happening, and then you go look up and to go see the London Times or look up Le Monde in France or the Washington Post, and all of a sudden you see the truth about what's really happening in your country. They're not going to be able to hide those websites and those papers and those sources anymore. They're just not going to be able to do it. So,
yeah, man. I had a friend who went to China not too long ago and was trying to watch TV on a specific channel. And even with a VPN, she couldn't crack their firewall. Even with a VPN, Larry. Even with a VPN. And so I'm sure China is going to figure out either they're going to ban it, or if you get it, you're going to have to use probably some kind of a service they tie into it. So if they want to shut you down, they can shut you down. China's
that's one thing I'm thinking of, is that they're going to probably either just straight up ban the hardware altogether so you can't get it, or like you said, they're going to cripple it by putting some of their software on top of it so that you can't. But the thing is with that, if it's a software thing that they put on top of it, that's something that I think could probably be removed. Hackers are good for removing software restrictions. The hardware restrictions might be different, but
exactly.
I think they might just end up banning the hardware altogether. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but it's going to be interesting. I think that in itself right there could be a very, very serious political and social and political disruptor around the world.
Exactly. Well, having said that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. But since Crystal and her sister did super chat, and Crystal's birthday is tomorrow, and Larry, this young lady doesn't look a day past 22. I'm going to give her a little funny something to smile at, and then we'll get out of here.
Guess whose turn it is? white people. Let's see what direction they go in. Halle Berry is still available, as is Mariah Carey's crazy ass.
I always wanted to say this. For shizzle.
We, the Jewish people, take Lenny Kravitz. The Chinese delegation pulling a fast one and choosing the entire Wu-Tang Clan. Brooklyn!
Her name is Brooklyn Homeschooling, so I had to give her something that had Brooklyn representing on. So happy birthday, my homie. Look forward to speaking with you tomorrow, as long as I don't get snowed out the house, because that vortex is headed right to North Carolina. They done cancel my baby daycare tomorrow. Y'all hold me in your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, we're supposed to get some snow on Friday.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, having said that, we're out of here to that next Sexy as Hell video. Mask up, be safe, stay warm, and get the supplies you need if you're going to be stuck in that polar vortex. And we'll see you.
Peace.